Hey everybody. In this course, we're going to talk about using the Podio calendar. So some general topics we're going to cover in this course. We're going to talk about the difference between workspace calendars and personal calendars and how those two are related. We'll obviously show you how to access each of those calendars. We'll talk about calendar views. So there's definitely ways to create different viewing options, whether it be day, week, month, or altering the amount of information that you see in your calendar. We'll walk through that as well. What's really cool is we'll talk about how we can get our Podio calendar data exported out to an external calendar like Outlook, Google Calendar, or iCal. Makes it really easy to keep all of your calendars in one spot. And then finally, we'll talk about color coding events so they show up as different colors on your Podio calendar. So let's go ahead and jump in. For purposes of this demo, I've got a demo workspace just for marketing comms. A lot of times there's a lot of scheduling and things like that around something like campaigns. So first thing I want to do is I want to come over to the Campaigns app. And let's take a look at one of these items. So we'll see here in this item, our campaign date is set to the 28th. So this is just an event. It's a single day event. We've got our campaign date. What I really wanted to get to, though, what's most important, is if we go into the modify template, you'll see here our campaign date is enabled to show in our Podio calendar. So let's close that back up. And what's really cool then is now any of our events that have a date, so we can see campaign dates, campaign dates, campaign dates. If I go back out to my workspace and I go to our workspace calendar and I can toggle to a month view, I can see all of those events in a calendar. Now, like we said in the overview, we can toggle this between month, week, day, really to get a good bird's eye view as to everything that's going on. What's also cool is you can actually create views. So if I wanted to, I could create a view by switching this layout that shows us the calendar view. So in this one, this is more a view around, what do we have coming up in planning, what's in progress, what's complete. But what we can also do is we can also switch the layout to calendar. Same kind of thing in this interface. We can set it to month, day, week, and we could even add that as a new view. So what I want to do is create calendar view, save in team views, and let's say we want to split by type. So what's really cool is now I can come through and go, by our campaign type and see those on the calendar as well. So one other thing that I want to talk about here is how we can get any kind of item with a date field to show on our personal calendars as well. So what's really cool is, as part of this campaign, we can see here we've got all of this detail. But what I want to do is I want to add a new field for campaign lead. So let's go ahead and add this campaign lead. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my user here, Zach, as the campaign lead. And so we'll see what's really cool about that here when we go to look at our personal calendar. Now, where our workspace calendars are visible by using a tile like this or inside of the application using a calendar view, I can get to my personal Podio calendar by coming up here to the top left and clicking on calendar. Now, what's kind of cool about this is you'll see that I've got some other things coming from other workspaces, other applications. Very similar to the workspace view, I can toggle between month, week, and day. But what this is doing is this is picking up items, where my Podio profile is attached, either something I'm following or something I'm related or referenced on. And what's really cool with this is I can select to say, show me everything that's date related across all of my workspaces. Sometimes depending on the workload and the workspace, that might be a little too much data. So what we can do is we can start to pare that back. So I could say, okay, I don't need to see everything date related, but maybe show me everything I'm following. That means everything I've been referenced on, interacted with, or manually chosen to follow. So if I do that, it's still a lot of stuff, but it starts to scale things back. Personally, what I find the sweet spot to be is this third option. And this is the one that gives me the view of everything that is involving and related to me. So this would be things where there's an app item I'm referenced on in a contact field or that member field, like we just talked about. So I can select that. And now we can see I've got my community support campaign. If I click into that, that was the one where I was added as the campaign lead. Now, if I were to actually toggle back up and pick one of these other ones, so let's do product excellence, I'm not the campaign lead for that. Now, if I add myself as the campaign lead to that and come back and I go back to involving and related to me, now that one is set to my stuff there. The one that will show you the least is directly involving me. This is just simply stuff that would be a meeting or a task that's assigned to me. So we'll give that a second. I might not actually have anything there. And we can also choose to include tasks. So again, if I were to bounce back up here, let's do this. Let's say on this one, I create a task. And I want that to be today. I'm going to pick myself. And I'm going to create that. And go back. If I do a quick refresh, now we'll see my task is here as well. So it's really nice to be able to keep all of your Podio work across multiple organizations in one calendar view. So let's talk real quick about color coding the calendar. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pop back in here to our campaigns app. And what I've done is I've actually come to this category field. So in each application, I can pick a category field to color code my calendar. So if I come to settings here, there's this color in calendar option. And what that means is that this item, as it shows up on the calendar, is going to inherit the color that I've got designated for that current status. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to make this on hold, and let's close that out. If I do a quick refresh, now we can see, okay, this thing's on hold. If we come back into this one, obviously this one's inheriting the color for in progress. And you can choose to do that for any of these. So, this is a multiple choice field. Let's see if I've got another one here. I don't think I do. But in any event, I can choose to make this one color code my calendar. So let's go ahead and let's close out of that. Now, the final step that's really cool is being able to export my Podio calendar to an external calendaring service. So if I come back here, and again, just for reference, I'm in my personal calendar because that's going to capture everything, right now that I'm involved in and related to me from all of my workspaces. What I'm going to do is make sure my tasks include tasks boxes checked there, and I'm going to click export to external calendar. So you'll see here, I can choose iCal. It would give me just a URL that I could subscribe to. And you'll see I can choose, just like I could before, the level of information I want to see. What I'm actually going to do is show you where we can add different calendaring services. So I can export this out to something like my Google Calendar, my personal Office 365 calendar, or in a lot of cases, most likely, is going to be an Office 365 business calendar. And what's really nice about this is once you enable this, all of your Podio items that appear here in your calendar will show up out on your Office 365 calendar. So you'll see all of your Podio items alongside all of your meetings. And what's great is once you configure this, you'll also have the ability to import items to the Podio calendar. So you'll kind of have a two-way sync of your Podio items going out to, in this case, your Office 365 calendar, and you'll have the reverse. You'll have your Office 365 calendar entries coming back here and showing in the Podio calendar. One thing I will note, I don't have any enabled here, but your, for example, Office 365 calendar items coming into Podio, while they will be visible, they'll show up as a gray color code. All you will see is the name of the event. You won't be able to click into it, make any changes, or do anything like that. It will basically just show as a time block on your calendar. So the calendaring piece in Podio is really nice. Again, I can kind of move these things around. I can use this to schedule my work, as I see fit. For those of us that live, off of our calendar every single day, this is a really nice way to take all of the work that lives inside of Podio that we're collaborating with other teams on, and bring those out, to our external calendars where we can get to those. Now, one final note I will mention, and something that's been super helpful, um, being able to take the calendar export one step further. So while I can export this to an external calendar like Office 365, and that is all visible in Office 365, what I've also done with my own personal calendars, this is not it, but to give you an example, what I've done with my personal calendars is I have then taken my Office 365 calendar and set that up with my native Apple iCal. And what's great about that is I can see all of my day-to-day Office 365 meetings and events. I can see all of my Podio work, all of my Podio tasks, right alongside all of my personal calendars that our family uses iCal for, or iCloud for. So it really gives me a good screenshot of literally everything that's going on every single day, whether it be work or personal. So that's a really nice feature to have to help keep yourself organized, again, using all of your work from inside Podio. So um, one thing I will mention, you will need to go through and enable the service first. I should have mentioned this in the beginning. You'll need to enable the service first. Where I went is my account settings. I went to, or I went to my profile, account settings, services, and what I would do is choose to connect Office 365. That's just going to open, an Office 365. I would authenticate. That would be great. Then what I can do once I do that is I can come back to our calendar and I can say, okay, I want to select the level of stuff I want to see externally. I can select one, I can authenticate, and it will set that rate up for me. So really easy to do, really handy, provides a lot of great additional value from a scheduling perspective using Podio.